Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, I want to give my 2 cents on this Nolan Wells situation. It's not specifically about just him, although this is definitely what spurred me to come to the table with my 2 cents. And forgive me in advance. I know I'm not getting ready to say anything that's groundbreaking to many of you. I know that a lot of it may seem cliche or it may sound like blah, blah, blah. We've heard it all before, right? But this is the way I need to get this off. All right, from a person who's been an advocate and a teacher for young people for nearly 30 years. From a volunteer perspective, I've been a teacher. I've taught and instructed from all the way from third grade all the way to adulthood, okay? And I've been in and out of juvenile halls. I've spoken at many different community events and schools and continuation high schools and so on and so forth, as well as having family members that are of young people generation, okay? And the Nolan Wells situation is disturbing to say the least. But I have to say something because it's one of the things that I've talked to a lot of my coworkers about, as well as people in passing about. And it's easy to overlook because I think that when we get on social media, we always look for the most groundbreaking, newsworthy clip of things that we can hold on to. And we overlook some of the most obvious things. Okay. I personally believe, and I've said this before, a lot of young people these days, and again, let me preface it by saying this is not an indictment against young people. A lot of what they're going through today is not their fault. Okay. My dad would always say, hey, the kids don't always need a whooping, the parents do. Okay. And that's not necessarily, it's a cliche to mean that the parents need to be more involved with some of these kids, right? And allow them to be able to go outside and socialize and things of that nature. And so my point being is that a lot of kids, a lot of the generation, I will say from the ages of, let's just say 10, 9 or 10, all the way up to 17, 18, are not socializing anymore. When you look at the generations before them, like myself, for example, we went outside and played. We fought, we communicated, we learned how to survive together. We ran up and down the street, we skinned our knees, we got in trouble by the neighbors. We had a lot of things that built the socialization skills that we now currently have. The kids these days, in a lot of ways, never got into a fight. They don't go outside and play. They don't play hide and seek or tag or any of the games that we played. They don't jump off of garages. I'm not advocating that they jump off of a garage. All right. But they don't climb trees. They don't do the things that we did as kids, which taught them socialization skills. And I know that there's a racial component to the Nolan Wells situation. All right. And I'm not ignoring that, but I'm just tapping into something that I think we've been ignoring. There's a lot of times where kids don't go outside to socialize. Socialization outside goes into, like I said, learning how to fight. You have disagreements with one another. All right. You push, you shove, you punch, you cry. You're best friends again the next day. It teaches you how to socialize, to communicate with one another. So you learn how to bargain with each other, right? Let me have some chips. Nope. Let me have a pack of gum. No, a piece of gum. You learn how to negotiate as kids when you're outside doing things like that. All right. You learn to stick together. You learn that being friends means sticking together. So when you ride your bike or you ride your skateboards or your scooters or you're walking, you're going places, you might run into other people from other neighborhoods. You learn to have each other's back. They don't know how to do that as well this year either. Or not this year, I'm sorry, this generation either. Also, when you look at it from a standpoint of why these kids go from 0 to 100, is because all of the stuff I just talked about, at least in my estimation, is gone. It's lost. These kids are going from 0 to 100. You can say that these kids nowadays are saying this guy is my best friend, all the way to killing the person. And I'm not going to name names because I don't know the story behind this particular situation. But my daughter told me earlier that one of her friends killed one of his friends by running him over after having a disagreement in a car. How do you go from somebody being your friend, being in the same car with you, riding, God forbid, you're on something. But the fact is, how do you go from somebody being your friend to now killing them in the next minute? You got to think about what's happening in that interim between friendship and disagreement or friendship and disappointment. There's a lot to unpack in that situation, right? But think about these situations that we're seeing lately of these guys these kids being killed. And this doesn't even go from black to white or white to black or male to female or female to male. This is everything. Everything in the whole gamut. Okay? People, these kids are killing each other at a rampant rate, and they don't even know why. We have to start taking ownership as parents to be able to look back and say, what can we do differently? And again, it goes back to the parental way of doing things. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of us as parents, from I don't know, Gen X all the way down, we're on our phones looking at social media as much as the kids are. At the end of the day, how much are we having game nights? How much are we, talking to our kids? Are we going outside? Are we playing around? Are we in the pool? Are we going on vacations? And I get it, not everybody can do all those things all the time, but some things don't take money. Some things don't take travel. Paying attention, talking doesn't take anything. That's free of charge. And we need to do more of that, or else more of our kids are suffering in silence. Okay? Their lives are being taken, or they're taking lives because emotionally they don't know how to regulate. They don't know how to regulate their emotions at all. And the days of us, now granted, I'm from a Gen X generation, okay? And I remember it was just go outside and play. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Go sit down. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Go lay down. Go get you some water. Go back outside. Stop running in and out my door. Go handle it. Go deal with it. We are the generation that had to literally go deal with it. The kids that we have are the ones that are coddled. They're protected from any and everything. We have a fear about us that something's going to happen to my child if I take my eyes off of it, because social media has shown us day in and day out something happening to some child somewhere from some idiot who's doing something crazy. Human trafficking, sex trafficking, all these things are now inundated within our brains that prevent us from allowing the kids to explore, to go places. Okay? We have to track everywhere they go now. And I'm not saying those things are bad, guys. I'm not saying that those are bad things, but that fear resonates from us to the kids. Okay? And these kids nowadays, you would think, would have a little bit of a monitor of fear so they can kind of govern what they do from day to day, but they are absolutely reckless in so many other ways. The drinking and driving, the speeding, the decision making, the lack of empathy for others, the lack of discipline. There's a lot of things to unpack, right? So I'm just saying that I think a lot of times, the reason why a lot of these things happen, and remember, I haven't even touched on the race thing because that's a whole nother page to turn. But right now, I'm just talking about the generations. The kids don't socialize. And just like, I'll be honest, just like my good friend Dr. Marcus Collins talks about all the time with culture, I think that culture has a lot to do with it as well. I think the lack of culture and the way that culture has mandated the way that some of us be raised is also diminished. So, there's a lot more to talk about when it comes to this, but I think that we have to start understanding that when they don't socialize, when they don't communicate, when they don't have a responsibility of being able to figure things out on their own, and now they're on AI, Google, everything makes decisions for them, they go from 0 to 100 a lot faster than they need to. And I don't know what the solution is, but I think it starts with being able to communicate and realizing where, I guess, we need to meet failure.